Joy to be together. But especially today is such a beautiful and auspicious day of Baisakhi. And of course, whenever it's auspicious is when we start to get beautiful drops of, as I was saying on the Ghat, what we call Akash Ganga. Means Ganga flowing from the sky. So for the first time this season, we've started to get some blessings of Akash Ganga. We usually begin satsang with a question that's come in advance. But tonight, with the weather as it is and not knowing quite when the rain is going to start to fall, I thought if there are questions that people already have, I would be happy to start with those. And then, yes. He's going to just give you a microphone.
Namaskaram. I actually have two questions, but I'll start with one. Why does it look like to us that the people we sometimes love most often are the source of most suffering or most misery? Is it just our karma? Is it our maya? Or perhaps we don't have enough perspective to see things?
So it's something that we all face. He said, why is it that those who are closest to us are the ones who are the greatest source of misery for us? Because it matters to us. Because we mix up attachment for love. We think that our attachment is love. Love is open and spacious. The arms of love embrace, accept. Attachment is all about control. It's all about you doing, being the way that I want. Now, if someone on the street, imagine I'm walking down the street. And someone on the street calls me an insult, let's say. Some random person, someone I don't know, on the street. You know, it happens sometimes. There's drunk people or crazy people on the street shouting all kinds of nonsense. As we walk down the street, if someone says something, is it really going to bother you? Not much, because you know, अरे जाने दो, क्या फर्क पड़ता? पागल है या पिया हुआ है या कोई और problem है. They're drunk, they're crazy, who knows? But we're not going to take it inside. Because we don't have an attachment with that person. We don't have an agenda of how that person should treat us. We don't wake up in the morning thinking, I know this guy on the street, he better be nice to me today. We don't really care. He's nice, great. He's not nice, fine, hum aage badhe. But with our loved ones, with people who are close to us, with that love, we have attachment. We want them to be a certain way. We want them to treat us a certain way. We want them to speak a certain way, to act a certain way, to live a certain way. We even want them to think a certain way. Like the arms of that attachment go not only into their actions and their words, but even into their thoughts. And so we set ourselves up for misery. Because no one has taken birth just to fulfill your agenda. Everybody comes onto this earth with their own karmic package. their own dharma, their own karmic fruits that are gonna, what we call the prarabdha karma, means the karma that's gonna bear fruit in this life, now. They've got all of that, not just the sanchit karma, the whole karma, but what we call this prarabdha karma. Right here, it's blossoming. So we've all got that. We've all got egos, desires, fears, confusions, dramas, sanskars that we have experienced, that have impacted us. And each of us is going to move through the world according to our karmic package, according to our dharma, according to our sanskaras, not according to your agenda. And so the more of an attachment you have to someone living according to your agenda, the more miserable you'll be. We don't care that much about strangers. They live according to our agenda, great. They don't, fine. It doesn't bother us that much. But when loved ones don't live according to the agenda, we feel very hurt, very upset, because we had an attachment, an expectation. So the only solution is to let go of the attachments. Learn to love in a spacious way, in a way that's open, in a way that really embraces the person as they are, not as you would like them to be. And if you can do that, then you'll find that the people around you, your loved ones, are sources of love rather than misery. Realize that you don't have any control over them. It would be nice if we did. It would be nice if we could get people to dance according to our tune. But as long as my happiness, my joy, my peace is hooked into your actions, I'm going to be miserable. Because I have no control over your actions. So if I've put something as precious as my own happiness, my own peace, and I've made it dependent on your actions or your words, sometimes you'll do what I want, I'm happy. But a lot of the times you won't. And then I'm miserable. So this is where we have to learn to let go of that control of the attachment, so that our loved ones bring us love, and we bring them love, rather than a mutual controlling type of arrangement. Because that's not real love. It's not good for you, it's not good for them. Yes.
सबको मेरा प्रणाम। मेरा क्वेश्चन है कि हम डिवाइन के साथ कांटेक्ट में कैसे रह सकते हैं?
Of worship, then we forget. But if we remember that however we conceive of the divine, whatever our religion may be, there's one thing, I mean there's many things, but one specific thing in common amongst all of the religions. God is infinite. I don't know any religion that believes that God is not infinite, that God only lives in this box or that box. Because then it wouldn't be God, right? I mean, if it only exists right here, then it's, the water in my glass, or my microphone, or this piece of questions rather than God. Kind of part of the definition of the divine is that God, just एक मिनट हम इसको finish करें फिर हम आपके पास आते हैं. The definition of God. हम उसके बाद हम आपके पास आ जाएंगे जी मैं समझ गए जी so the definition of God is that God is infinite. Now we have a beautiful teaching in our Upanishads that I love that says Isha Vasyamidam Sarvam Yat Kincha Jagatyam Jagat. And what it means is everything in the universe is pervaded by the divine. There is nothing, no one, nowhere not pervaded by the divine. And so the way to stay connected all the time is to realize that wherever I am, whatever I am seeing, a leaf, a tree, a drop of water, a dog, a cat, another human being, I am seeing the presence of the divine through that. And if I can see that, why do you think in our Sanatan Dharma we've been given so many beautiful embodiments of the divine in the form of different animals? We've been given embodiments of the divine in so many forms to remind us all of creation is a manifestation of God. And so if every time I put my foot on the ground, I am aware that I am stepping on the divine, I'm going to walk very differently, very carefully. If I'm aware as I'm eating that what I am eating is divine, that this is God, feeding God, of God, right? Then everything I do is going to bring me back into remembrance of God. One of the beautiful techniques that I personally use and I suggest to others is along the way, ideally we think of God and we're connected to God 24/7. All the time. But along the way, it's helpful to have things that remind us. So for example, every time you're going to eat food, every time you're going to drink water, just take a moment. Close your eyes. Connect with the divine in the form of the food, in the form of the water, in the form of the provider of the food and the water, in the form of Agni Dev in you that's going to digest this food. That's literally the divine is feeding the divine of the divine. Every time you get in a car, before the car turns on, just take a moment. Connect to God. And you may think of different examples. It depends on what activities your life is made up of. But think of something that you do at least 7-10 times a day. And then connect that with remembrance of God every time you're going to do that. Just before you do it. Take 30 seconds, 1 minute. Remember God. Just before you check your inbox. Just before you go on Facebook or Instagram. Right? Just take a moment. Connect to God. It'll just give you all of these different opportunities throughout the day to just remember, oh yeah. And now you tie everything you do to remembering God. And so it just becomes a habit. Whatever you do, you remember God. There's a beautiful line in our prayers here each morning that says, Mukh me ho Ram nam, Ram seva hath me. Let God's work be on your hands and God's name be on your lips. Means to remember God doesn't mean we don't act. Doesn't mean I just sit here like this all day long. We do act. But as I'm acting, my mind and my lips are on the divine. I'm remembering God. So if you do that, and every blade of grass, every tree, every flower, every drop of water, every ray of the sun, तो फिर आप हर समय उनकी याद में होंगे. Yes, here. No, उसके बाद आएंगे आपके पास अभी. आपको दे दीजिएगा भैया. संदीप जी आप बात करिए उनसे, है ना?
प्रणाम. मैं मानता हूँ, मतलब मैं सोचता हूँ कि कोई भी इंद्रियां मन के बिना काम नहीं करती, और हमारा मन है वो केंद्रित करने के लिए हम योगा भी करते हैं.
माइक थोड़ा सा ऊपर कर दीजिएगा ताकि सब सुनेंगे.
अच्छा. और हमारा मन केंद्रित करने के लिए हम योगा करते हैं, मेडिटेशन करते हैं. और मेडिटेशन में भी हम एक ऑब्जेक्ट को लेके करते हैं और उसमें परिश्रम लगता है, और उस परिश्रम से थकावट भी आती है. आप 10 मिनट मेडिटेशन कर सकते हैं, आधा घंटा कर सकते हैं, लेकिन थकावट आती है. मेरा मानना है, और लिखा हुआ है किताबों में, कि उस परिश्रम में भी ईश्वर नहीं है.
इसी
ईश्वर नहीं है.
किस चीज़ में ईश्वर नहीं है?
परिश्रम में.
हाँ.
अगर परिश्रम में ईश्वर है तो हर आदमी का परिश्रम अलग अलग है. किसी के पास ज़्यादा है तो उसको जल्दी गॉड मिल जाएगा. तो इस मेडिटेशन की है ना उच्च अवस्था क्या है?
देखिए, meditation does not bring God. साधना भगवान को लाने के लिए ऐसे नहीं है. God is there in everything. अभी जो मंत्र मैंने बताया उपनिषद का, it clarifies every single thing is pervaded by God. Now, in our meditation then, meditation is about asta. That faith, that connection. Meditation connects us to our true self, which ultimately at the core is divine. Meditation removes the blocks, it removes the ignorance, it removes the illusion. क्योंकि भगवान तो है ही in everything. Whatever we're doing, God is there. और ऐसे नहीं कि there's more God in this, less God in that. It's not कि God is in every leaf. तो मेरे पास 10 leaves है, आपके पास 2 leaves है, so I have more God. There's another beautiful mantra. Purnamada, Purnamidam, Purnat Purnamudachyate, Purnasya Purnamadaya, Purnameva Vashishyate. So God is infinite, that is infinite, and this which has been created by that is also therefore infinite. Every leaf is the infinity of the divine. Now, infinity times 2 is what? Infinity. Infinity times 10 is what? Infinity. So there's no such thing as like more God, less God, as there would be no such thing as more infinity or less infinity. But the meditation that we do is not about bringing God. It's about purifying our mind and our eyes and our understanding so we can experience the divine. It's like the sun is shining, but our curtains are drawn. We cannot see the sun. Now हम अंदर बैठे हुए सूर्य का सारे प्रार्थना कर रहे हैं, पूजा कर रहे हैं. But the sun is already there. We just need to open our windows. What meditation does is it opens the curtains. It cleans the glass so we can see. But God, in God's fullness and infinite expression, is always there and also inside of us. That's what meditation also does, is it gives us the experience of the divine in our own self. Because when you meditate, you realize there's no place that I end and the world begins. Otherwise, we feel very separate. But as we meditate, we realize I'm one with all. My consciousness expands. My awareness expands. My experience expands. And I realize I'm one with all. That divine is inside as well. Beautiful. We'll take yours as the last question tonight.
प्रणाम गुरुजी। माता जी, मेरा प्रश्न ये है कि परमात्मा की प्राप्ति के लिए संकीर्तन और मेडिटेशन में से कौन सा सरल माध्यम है?
ठीक है. He said to obtain God, which is better? Which is easier? Which is stronger? Which is a better way? Doing kirtan or doing meditation? It's like saying, which is better? Bhakti marg, bhakti yoga, jnana yoga, or karma yoga? Right? Sankirtan increases our bhakti. We're chanting God's name. We're dancing to God. We are just immersed in the ras of bhakti. In meditation, sometimes there's that beautiful experience of love for God. Sometimes it's more of a practice of jnana yoga. Who am I? Who am I? Depends what type of meditation we do. Who am I? Who am I? Who am I? And then, of course, you forgot to add in the mix seva, karma yoga, right? Because these are our three options: bhakti, jnana, karma. Now, the truth is, alag-alag rasta nahi hai. They're just three different ways in to the exact same place. आप सोचिएगा, मान लीजिएगा कि आप किसी को प्यार करते हैं. You have bhakti for them. Well, when you have love for them, naturally you will want to serve them, right? You bring them breakfast in bed. You make them fresh squeezed juice. You press their legs and their feet. You write them poems. You do all sorts of things for them. So the bhakti is the love, the breakfast in bed, the poems, the massages. This is karma yoga. And as you love someone, naturally you want to know more about them, right? When we fall in love, we stay awake all night. Acha, and what's your favorite ice cream flavor? Acha, what music do you like? Acha, ye batao, wo batao, right? We want to know as much as we can about the one we love. Now that is starting with bhakti. But you could also start with jnana. You can start with wisdom, knowledge. The more you learn about someone, especially when that someone is God, Right? With a person, sometimes the more you learn about them, you think, chalo, nah, maybe not. But with God, the more you learn about God, the more our bhakti increases. This is why we listen to katha. It's why we read scripture. It's why we meditate on God. Because the more we learn about God and experience the presence of God, the more our love for God increases. And the more our love increases, the more we serve. But you can also get in through service. Because as we serve, we may begin, let's say you are a hungry homeless person, and I am someone who runs langar. Okay? So maybe I begin by thinking, I am the one jiske paas sare khana hai, mera